All right, good morning. Today we're talking about how to increase your employee motivation so you can get back your time. And we have a lot of feelings, thoughts about motivation. So we're going to dive into that today. And what I really want to show you today is how you can tap into intrinsic motivation with your employees so that you don't have to feel like the cheerleader or you have to be there for them to be motivated to do their work. So I want to make sure that you are not, tied to that motivation so that you can actually step away and trust that the motivation is doing its job. So who am I? I'm Melissa. I'm an executive coach and a management consultant. Kelsey, and I'm seeing your face. Are we having some technical issues?
I was just trying to share onto the page and I could hear you talking again. So I was like, I thought you could hear it too.
All right. So first off, I'm a real person. We're a real team. We handle lots of fun and interesting things, including technology issues throughout our day.
This morning. Yeah.
But the main part, what I do every day is I'm an executive coach and a management consultant. And what that means is I'm working with leaders and I'm working with their teams to improve communication, to improve how they're working and build them into high performing teams. And motivation is a really important part of that. So, Kelsey Ann, now that they know about me, what should the people tuning in know about you?
Well, I am one of your employees and I'm your marketing director. And I help do a lot of business behind the scenes so that you can deliver to our clients. And I guess what I bring to the table is the employee perspective. So oftentimes the employee's voice doesn't get heard. So I appreciate the opportunity to speak for, a lot of the details are different, but those patterns and stories of employees that face challenges about the kinds of management and leadership that they've had in past and what those experience, how they kind of unfortunately sometimes carry them forward and how they can affect them moving forward. It's important for leaders to kind of hear those stories and those sides.
Yeah, very, very interesting. I love what you're saying there is, we can have the perfect environment. We can be the perfect leader, not that anything is perfect, but let's say it could be. The employees are still coming in with their baggage, with their experiences, perceptions, the way that they failed, the way that they were treated, the way that they felt in the past about management, about leadership, about organization, about their work. They're bringing that all into today. And so it's not enough to just, be your best self, but to tune into your employees where they're at, to meet them where they're at, and to know how to navigate that. And that's not an easy thing. As I'm saying it, there is no employee that's the same.
No.
There's no situation that's the same.
No.
And we have a bias, and biases are, and let's talk about bias for a moment. I feel like this is going to be a good one. So if you're tuning in, there's going to be a lot of interesting things in this live. I can feel myself already drifting to some pretty interesting places, but biases are shortcuts that we have in our brain to make up for the fact that we have to move fast without enough meaning. We have to make a lot of decisions, so we get overwhelmed with decisions every day. And we have limitations to our memory. So our brain operates with these biases, and these biases are meant to be shortcuts so that we can handle every day. And these biases, help us, but they also hinder us. They also can get in the way, especially in times when slowing down and looking at situations, is what we need to be doing. So we tend to oversimplify things. That's one of our biases, is we want to oversimplify so that we can get a handle on it. We can feel a sense of control and we know what to do next. We also have a bias about believing that we know what other people are thinking, feeling, and why they're behaving that way. We don't know that. We have biases that we color in the blanks. We have a lot of assumptions. We color in a lot of the meaning without verifying if it is true. And our assumptions and our beliefs become our truth with a capital T.
It's amazing the stories that we tell ourselves, and a lot of the times they're not true.
And I talked about, was it a couple of weeks ago, I wrote a piece about email communication that a lot of people responded to. And one of the things that I addressed in that piece is the fact that we load up our emails with assumptions. And we don't even see it. But when I do email audits, and we really look, I take out a highlighter and we go through and we highlight all of the things that are assumptions. And you would be amazed at how much of our communication are assumptions. And we're telling based on those assumptions that aren't verified. So once you start looking at those biases and assumptions, it really changes your approach. It changes the way that you communicate. It changes the way that you connect with your employees and that you can connect with their intrinsic motivation. All right, so why is intrinsic motivation important? And why does it give you back your time? So if you're joining me right now, say hi. I'd love to know who's listening. Interact. We can see the comments here and we can make it a lot of fun for you. And I can answer any questions on the spot today. So why is intrinsic motivation important? According to Kelsey Ann, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, we know that carrots and sticks don't work.
Why?
Because because it's external. It's not, we're not emotionally attached to it. Right? The carrot and the stick, we don't have it doesn't resonate with us. We need something that really kind of connects us to the purpose of like the greater good or the greater, the bigger picture for the business. Yeah, that's
So the carrots and sticks are effective in the moment, but they are external factors and they only work if they're present, which means if you're not there to monitor so that you can, hand out the carrots and use the stick, then, that's relying completely on you to be present. And so as soon as you walk away, and that monitoring is not happening, place becomes a zoo. The motivation goes away. And that means you can never walk away. And you're investing a lot of time in this monitoring. Checking up on things, sending emails, where are you at? You spend a lot of time going to get information and monitoring.
And then the employee feels micromanaged.
Bingo. So what does that do to motivation?
That makes me not want to do very much if I'm constantly feeling like I have eyeballs on me and I don't feel like I have power or that if you were doing that, because you don't do that, but previous employers did, and I felt like they didn't have confidence in who I was and my job and my capabilities, right? It undermined my confidence. And again, these are stories that I'm telling myself as an employee. I don't know what, like, I'm making these assumptions as an employee. You've made your assumptions as the employer about what's going on. So it's double assumptions, double biases that you're working with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So do you want to know how to tap into intrinsic motivation? I've got 3 things that you can do starting today to tap into that intrinsic motivation. So if you're listening right now and you want to know, say yes in the comments below. Do you want to know how to tap into intrinsic motivation? Because this is a game changer. You can start using these things. It may not be overnight, but it will start making a difference immediately.
Mhm.
So you will start seeing the shift, but it won't necessarily be night and day within 24 hours. So give it some time and just notice the shift. All right. So the first thing, number 1, what you can do to tap into that intrinsic motivation, if you've already been tapping into it, tap into it more, is stop telling and start asking and listening. Stop telling, start asking and listening. We have a beautiful gift that we offer as leaders, and that's the gift of being able to slow down and make sense of information that's in front of us. We know the right answers. We have experience. And we are 20 steps ahead of the employee. So it's easy to tell. It even feels more time managed to tell. But what happens?
And well, I don't like being told what to do. I don't think anybody does, really.
Resistance. What else?
Disengagement. So there's resistance, and then I'm like, nah, you telling me what to do? I don't want to do that.
Mhm. What about when you think you know something and what I'm telling you is in conflict with what you know or the way you want to proceed?
It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't.
There's many ways that you could
Yeah.
answer it, but I would say probably tension and conflict.
Mhm.
And if we as leaders are telling, we are not tapping into what this person is thinking and feeling. And emotions drive people. So if you want to tap into the intrinsic motivation and align their behavior, telling is not going to get you that. But asking and listening will. And when we ask questions, it can feel like we're giving our power away. It can feel like we're going to lose control of the situation. However, when you ask a question, you actually direct the mind. You become, instead of being a boss telling someone what to do, you become a shepherd or a guide. So you're still steering the direction of the conversation, the direction of the work. However, you're creating some autonomy for the person, and autonomy is a really important piece of motivation. Right? We don't want to feel micromanaged or stuffed in a box. We want to have the autonomy, some freedom to do our work and to do it well. And when you stifle that freedom and that autonomy, this person is not able to perform in the same way, because your way might not be their way of being their best.
Mhm.
So we're going to stop telling and start asking the right questions and really listening. That means suspending your judgment long enough to listen and to understand. And the more that we do the asking and listening, the more people feel comfortable speaking up, the more they feel comfortable taking initiative, the more they feel comfortable that trust that you have their back, that they are valued. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to add?
Mm-hmm. I think as from an employee, when like with you compared to previous employers, I know there's an agenda, but you're not pushing your agenda. You're allowing me to see the gaps and the transparency is there. So it's not, you're giving me the bigger picture to be able to show me kind of your agenda,
Mhm.
but it's not, you're pushing it on me like previous employers have. And that's I think a big shift which is hard to do, to actually like listen to hear, not listen to respond.
Yes. Yeah, and there is a bigger picture at play. It's not, being laissez-faire. And this, kind of ties into my second offering here, which is connect the dots. You see the bigger picture. Help employees see the bigger picture.
Mhm.
Give them the information so that they can think for themselves. If we do the thinking for the employee, they don't need to think. Sometimes that's comfortable. Sometimes they actually, just give me the answer, I'll go do it. But that means they have to come to you for the answer every single time. And if you're not on them, they can't do it. Again, now you're tied to the solution and you can't walk away. So you want to be able to help them see the bigger picture. Connect the dots. You have those dots all connected. So one of the things that I like to do is ask people, what do you know about X? Tell me what that means for you. What do you know so far? What do you not know? And I can get a sense of where the person is at and what the information that they may need is missing.
Mhm.
That allows me to, instead of trying to give them all the things, I can just go fill the gaps for them. Okay, would you like to know about X? Would it be helpful to know about Y? And then I can put forward the information, not telling, just sharing information, because that's all we really can do is share information, but share the right information so they can see the bigger picture, that they can start being more aligned with the direction. They may not understand why they're doing what they're doing if they don't have a sense of the bigger picture. So
Mhm.
when we connect the dots, we help people connect the dots internally. We give them more meaning. And meaning is another key piece of motivation. So think of it this way. When you are doing something, so I just want you to kind of like step into the employee's shoes for a moment. If you're doing something and you don't know why you're doing it, how does that feel?
Could feel pointless. You don't realize the impact that piece, it might be just a minor piece, but that's a bigger piece in this whole cog and wheel and system and process, that if that piece isn't done well, it affects, it could affect the process, it could affect other people's jobs. There's lots of trickle down effects that can happen. And to understand that makes that employee, or helps that employee, nobody can make you do anything. It helps the employee to actually understand their role in that bigger picture.
Yeah. And it feels good to be part of the big picture. It feels good to be a player. It feels good to be part of something. And it feels motivating. So for example, we go on live, we try to do it once a week at least.
Mhm.
And if we were just like doing live videos to do live videos, how would we feel about these?
wouldn't necessarily have as much of an impact as, than what we're trying to do.
And honestly, we'd probably avoid doing these lives. We'd probably find excuses not to do it. We'd be too busy. There'd be other things happening. And there is lots of busyness in our business. Like, let me tell you, we there's no lack of things to do and work that we do. However, we're still carving out the time to do these lives because we understand that doing these lives is part of us giving back. It's part of us giving information to people to make better decisions. We're giving nuggets to leaders to improve their workplaces. And so that's a win for impact on society. That's also a win for business. We get to show you a little bit of our internal work.
Mhm.
We get to give you a sense of who we are and what we care about. So that is part of, creating alignment between potential clients, people that want this solution, and what we have to offer. So there's actually a lot of meaning that goes with doing these live videos.
Mhm.
And that feels really good. When I know somebody is there listening and they send me a message afterwards and they tell me, oh my God, I really love this piece. I'm actually going to do that tomorrow because of the situation that I'm dealing with. Totally worth it. Meaning is motivating.
Mhm.
And I'm sure, Kelsey Ann, you wouldn't be doing these lives with me if you didn't have that meaning.
No, definitely not.
How much meaning do you get out of your work these days compared to before? And how does that impact your life as an employee?
I'd say I get a lot of meaning out of my work, and showing up for the business, for our business, is a priority for me in my life. And it's important to me. And it's not just in the survival sense of you help me support my family and pay my bills, but we are doing good things and helping leaders, step up and tweak what they're already doing. Right. A lot of these leaders, they know that the stuff, it's just little tweaks and little nuances, and um, learning to listen, because that's one thing that I've realized is that as much as I think, I'm a good listener, I'm not always in that active listening mode.
Mhm.
So I think it's meaning in this job, it's to know that I am a key piece in this process and in this business. It makes me want to get up and perform and continue to do because what I do allows you to do what you do, and
Mhm.
vice versa. You doing what you do allows me to do what I do, and we work well together. And it's exciting to see the business growing,
Mhm.
and that is motivating to me.
Yeah. And one of the things that we do in terms of our workload, because we do have a quite like a hefty workload. So an evaluation that we do, I would say almost on a monthly basis at this point, is we look at our roles and responsibilities, and we're constantly tweaking. And part of our filtering system is meaning.
Hmm.
Doing this piece right here, what's the meaning of this? How are we having an impact? Is it worthwhile? And sometimes we take things off our plate and we're making decisions based on that. So we're always putting our efforts in the right place and in the things that are meaningful.
Hmm.
And sometimes, right down to the bookkeeping is meaningful.
Hmm.
So we can find meaning with all of the roles and responsibilities.
Hmm.
People crave impact. Give it to them. You see it. Help them see it as well. All right. So that was number 2, connect the dots. Ready for number 3?
I am.
All right. So number 3 is fully leverage their skills. One of the things that I hear all the time when I'm working with middle management or even employees is, I have so much to offer and I feel underutilized. They don't even see it. They don't see it. There was a box, they told me to fit in the box, and they're not looking at everything else that I could bring to the equation. And I really want to be in a place where I feel like I'm at my best, where I am able to use all of my magic.
Mhm.
And employees seek that. Leaders seek that. You're seeking that. So mastery or mastering is a really important part of motivation. So do you know what are the skills and the strengths other than the job that they're currently doing? Do you see that? Are you aware of what they could be bringing to the table? Are you having these conversations? And it's amazing when you ask someone, how do you want to be contributing to the team? Or how do you want to be contributing to the process? What else? And you help them explore that. That's how you create superstars and the people who can really rise and shine. Thoughts? Penny, for your thoughts?
Um, it feels good to be recognized too as the employee, right? Hey, I'm being seen. I'm being, my leader sees me. They're asking me, what they actually care what I think and what I can do. And they want me to shine. Oh, okay. Well, I can shine in this way, in this way, in this way too. And they actually want that.
Mhm.
And they're not just saying it, I can see it by their actions too. Because sometimes employers say, we want people to take initiative. Then when they do,
Go
it's not
back
in
in
that
your
way.
box.
Not in that way. Not that way. That's not how you take initiative. It's like, huh? But yes, it feels good. It feels good when you're seen. Everybody wants to be seen and acknowledged.
Yeah. So to frame it, to kind of give you another overview, if you missed a piece of it, or you're just like taking it all in, a quick review. There are 3 really important pulse points to motivation. And those 3 things are autonomy, meaning, and mastery. Okay. When you tap into these 3 things, we don't need to use carrots and sticks. We don't have to be there driving people, keeping them accountable, dragging them along. So if you're feeling any of this, if you're feeling like if I don't check in, they're not going to do their job, start exploring those 3 pulse points. And today we went over the how you can be doing it. If you want give them more autonomy, start asking questions, start listening. If you want to give them more meaning, help them see the bigger picture by connecting the dots. You see it, they don't. It may be obvious to you, it is not obvious to them. And explore how you can fully leverage their skills to give them more feeling of mastery. So, emotional intelligence is a really big part here. This is the skill that's going to help you do these 3 things. Motivation is a feeling, right? I don't like to think about that. Leave the feelings at the door. Well, what about motivation? Don't we want that in the workplace? So emotional intelligence and your EQ competencies are the things that help you leverage more of that intrinsic motivation and implement those three things that we just talked about very effectively. Emotional intelligence, and more specifically, the practice of emotional intelligence, is what I offer in my Executive Edge program. So it's an 8-week leadership development program. And you start with your EQ profile, one-on-one coaching, and 6 group sessions where you really dig into every EQ competency and you bring them to life for yourself, in your practice, your daily practice, and for your team. And I'm talking about practice and practical emotional intelligence because it's not enough to know. I really, through that program, support you to do the implementation so that it becomes easy, that it becomes second nature, but it needs to be intentional first. And so we last week opened up seats to the Executive Edge program. So if you've been interested or you're hearing about it now and you're interested, we actually sold out. So yesterday morning, I got the 2 final seats booked. 6 out of 6 seats are gone. That means that for this next cohort, there's no opportunity, but here's the opportunity for you. If you are interested, you can get on the wait list. So we're still accepting applications until midnight tonight. So Kelsey Ann, could you drop the link in the chat? So if you're interested, you click on the link, book yourself in my calendar. And as long as you do it before midnight tonight, I will put you on the wait list for the next one, which should start in May. And you will get the deal that I'm offering right now, which is $1,000 off your seat. So book yourself in my calendar, get on the wait list. You want to be on the wait list because I actually have people on the wait list already. And there's only 6 seats in every program. So get yourself on the wait list and line yourself up for the next one. What else should people know, Kelsey Ann, if they are interested in the Executive Edge program?
It's customized. You help work with them, and you work with them, although it's in a group setting, very much, I don't even know how to say it. You are delivering live, like it's not a pre-recorded session. These are live sessions. They're interactive. You're practicing, you're role playing. You're really getting into making it that second nature piece. And you help take the strategies that you're teaching and help leaders tweak and implement for them and their situation, because we all know, just like each individual is different, every scenario is different that these leaders are facing in their challenges that they're facing in the workplace. So there might be similar themes, but the players are all different and all of those personalities are all different. So you really help to work with the leaders and what they're dealing with to really amp up their impact, because they have most of it usually, but it's just these little tweaks that you help them do. And it's to hear them come back and say, I had been trying to do this, and then I just tweaked this, based on what you had told me, Melissa, and wow, I was able to accomplish, 1, 2, and 3. And that is so exciting to hear when we hear those come back from our clients.
Yeah.
Or
And I think, that personalization. So because it is an intimate group, so that's why I don't take a lot of people at the same time, is we are looking at the uniqueness of the situations and customizing the strategies. So we can say, like, stop telling, start listening, right? That's a beautiful strategy. However, you might not know what questions to ask in this situation, or you might be dealing with people who are not speaking up. So I'm asking questions and I'm listening, but they're not saying anything. I'm stuck. So we look at, yes, that strategy, and what does it look like right here for you?
Mhm.
And we design that. That actually helps take things off of your plate. So I'm coming in with my expertise, I'm coming in with all of my tools, and I'm giving you what you need in that moment. And because you're implementing it, you're learning. You're learning the tools as you're implementing it, and you're getting the benefit of them immediately.
Mhm.
So it's not just knowledge that you put in your mind and you wait for an opportunity to use, you start using it immediately, and you start seeing the impact immediately. And I think that's something that's really interesting, to see everyone move through those 8 weeks and get really, really awesome results immediately.
And I
And
think
not feeling the burden of like, I'm taking a training and there's all this homework. And no, the homework is the things that you're already doing, and the tweaks, the shift in your approach to get you better results, to take things off your plate. So you're dealing with less mess, less resistance, less chaos, less emotional reactions. People are stepping up, they're feeling better, the culture is improving, people are excited, the motivation is going up, people are delivering things on time,
and I
right?
think it's really cool when we've heard from leaders that have said, I wasn't really sure what to expect. And then all of a sudden, a couple weeks in, their employees are noticing, hey, you're doing something different here. I don't exactly know what it is, but something's different. And
Mhm.
they can see the difference too, right? So when, you're, in turn affecting the culture too, because of the way that you're interacting with your employees, and those shifts and those little nuances, all of a sudden those dynamics are changing for the better.
It's an inside out journey.
Hmm.
It's not for everyone, but it's for people, for leaders who get it and who want it and who are ready for something different. It's for leaders who have the ability to rethink,
Hmm.
and because it isn't a comfortable process. There is an internal shift that needs to happen, to get something, a different outcome.
Hmm.
Right? But I'm there for you through those 8 weeks to completely support you. And you get a direct line to me. So it's not just showing up to the group sessions, but you get a direct line to me. So through the week, we can have communication. You can ask questions. You can debrief, and anything that you're not comfortable sharing in the small group setting, you can share one-on-one. And so I can do lots of coaching with you behind the scenes. All right. So that's a wrap for today. If you're listening, say hi. Let me know what you're taking away from today. What's one small nugget, one small insight, one small aha that you're taking away from this live video and implementing? You can leave it in the comments or send me a DM. I would love to hear from you. I would love to know how you are using what you're learning. And it also gives me lots of meaning to continue doing these videos. All right,
And
everyone.
motivation.
Yeah, it's a human motivation. It's human. It's not just employees, but think about yourself as well.
Yeah.
What's motivating to you? All right. So have a great day. And I hope to see you on my calendar. And you have until midnight tonight if you want to explore it. So booking yourself in my calendar doesn't mean you're in. It means we're going to talk, we're going to explore, and if it's a fit, I'm going to put you on the wait list and you'll be lined up for the next cohort. All right. Bye.
Bye.